guys, and welcome back to my channel. This week I am doing another installment for Sermons by Teens for Teens. And this week I am covering the topic of standing out for God. And as I've been going through school and life, I've always struggled with standing out with my Christian values. It's always like, why do you do this? You know, that doesn't make any sense. Why do you not do this? Why do you do this? Why do you not do that? Why is it not okay to do this? And people never really understood that, and that led me to not be very liked in school, and for me not to exactly be the popular kid. So this week I just picked a couple of scriptures to maybe help you if you're in the same boat, because I am still in the same boat, and it is always so hard to put yourself on the hook and on the line for Christ. And I'm just going to share these scriptures with you and hope it helps you as well as it helps me. So let's get started. So the first scripture is John 15:18 through 19, and that reads, "If the world hates you, keep in mind that it hated me first. If you belong to the world, it would love you as its own. As it is, you do not belong to the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, and that is why the world hates you." So this scripture is technically saying that the world hated Jesus. They couldn't put him in a box. He didn't accept what the world had to offer. And the world hated it. They hung him on a cross over it. So how much more are they going to do it to his followers, the people who believe in God, the people who have the same values or try to have the same values as Christ? You know, the people who try to be like Christ. The world doesn't know what to do with you, and the world loves its own people and nothing else. So if they hated God and God's son, how much more are they going to hate us? The world's never going to understand us, and we're never going to be its own because we are God's people and not the world's people. So the next scripture is 2 Corinthians 5:13, which is actually one of my favorites, and that reads, "If we are out of our minds, as some say, it is for God, but if we are in our right mind, it is for you." So the world will never truly understand why we do this or why we say that or why we don't do this or why we don't say that. The world will never truly understand why and who we are. They will always look at us like we are crazy, like we're speaking a different language or something. And we are out of our minds for Christ. We're not in our right minds. And if we are ever in our right minds, we should be seriously worried, because the world tries to put us in a box. They try to make us sad. They try to make us as miserable as they are. And really, God has picked us out of there and says, I can give you a life. I can give you a future. I can help you prosper. I can give you a happy, joyful, carefree life. And the world doesn't want that for us. So they think we're crazy that we can even have the opportunity to have that. Also, as disciples, we should stand out. We should be weird. We should be undefinable. We should be out of our minds for Christ. You know, I would be worried if they think I'm normal or they're surprised that I'm a disciple. You know, the worst thing I think you can be called is normal. If they think you are in your right mind, you need to do something to make them think you're crazy, because all disciples should be a level of crazy. And my third scripture is 1 Peter 3:14 through 15, and that reads, "But even if you should suffer for what is right, you are blessed. Do not fear their threats and do not be frightened, but in your heart revere Christ as Lord. Always be prepared to give an answer to everyone who asks you to give a reason for the faith and hope that you have. But in this, do it with gentleness and respect." So people always question our faith. They'll question why we're so happy all the time. They'll question why we're so joyous all the time. And maybe they'll even question our basic beliefs. So we always have to be prepared and read our Bible and be fully equipped to give them those answers. And also, even though we may get persecuted, even though we may be on the hook for Christ, we should be thankful that we are serving and on the hook for a cause, because we could have just as easily done something dumb. So we should be very, very happy that we are serving God in this way, because even Jesus got persecuted. He lived his whole life getting persecuted. So how much more us? We're his followers. We're expecting to get a sliver of that. We're always going to be questioned. We're always going to be looked at weird, you know? So just embrace it, because that's what Christ went through. So my fourth and final scripture is Matthew 7:13-14, and that reads, "Enter through the narrow gate, for the wide gate is broad, and the road leads to destruction, and many enter through it. But the small gate is narrow, and the road leads to life, and only few find it." So the wide gate is easy to get through. Everyone can walk through the wide gate. There's no sacrifice, there's no initial struggle, there's no denying yourself. It's the perfect gate. But yet God gives us the opportunity to walk through the narrow gate. And even though it will be a struggle, even though you have to deny yourself, even though not a lot of people will agree with your choice of walking through the narrow gate, it gives us life. It does not lead us to destruction. And if you are walking through the narrow gate, I'm just going to tell you, just keep on going. Because the world will try and stop you from walking through this gate that will give you life, because they don't want you to have happiness. And you may want to turn around and walk through the wide gate, but I'm just going to tell you that it doesn't lead anywhere good. It leads to destruction. It leads to emptiness. You won't feel fulfilled anymore. You won't feel like your life has a purpose. You'll be anxious. You'll be stressed out all the time. You'll be depressed. You'll feel like, what's the point of even living? You'll question everything. I mean, it's just not worth it. It's not worth that 2 seconds of relief for a lifetime of pain. So just keep on the road you're walking on. You will be persecuted. It's not easy, but it leads to so much fulfillment and so much happiness and so much joy. So thanks for watching this week's video. I hope you really enjoyed it. And also one thing, my notes for each and every one of these Bible studies will now be online, and the link will be in the description for where you can find the notes for these lessons. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you on Sunday. Goodbye. Bye.